right, so thanks for staying with us. Our main thrust this week is captured in Positives of Failure. And we have a very interesting guest joining us on the conversation, and you'll meet him very shortly.
And so what does failure means to you? How do you embrace or react to it? Do you see defeat? Do you see collapse? Do you see disaster, catastrophe, disappointment, and a lot more? Or do you see courage and the opportunity to bounce back and be better? Now, before all of that, let's digress a bit. John, as always, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? There's only one thing on my mind, PVC collection. And of course, the interesting thing is that the collection date deadline has been moved forward. Now, I think it's the 29th, Sunday or so.
One more week.
One more week. So, well, I want to encourage all of us, if you haven't picked up your PVCs yet, let's make sure we do that before the 29th.
Wow. All right. And what's on my mind, John?
Yes.
I'm so excited. I read somewhere that the female police officers can now get pregnant and have babies even before being married. Yes, now, what is it?
Well, I've been seeing pregnant policewomen all over the place.
They are married. You know, there was this incident recently of one who got pregnant, you know, out of wedlock, and she was suspended and all of that.
Okay. So
there's a court ruling now that the police can get pregnant without getting married. Whether male or female, I don't know whether the males had this issue.
The males
previously.
can get pregnant too.
No, I mean like they can make babies out of, you know, when they are not married. Really. So this is really striking the balance, and it makes a lot of sense. Don't you think so?
Great balance, sweet balance. Okay, moving on to dissect the topic, Positives of Failure. We are joined in the studio by Biodun Omolayo, a man who is passionate about the subject of success and failure, an artist, an entrepreneur, and Chief Creative Officer Omolayo Art Gallery. Thank you for making out time to be with us here this morning, my good friend.
Okay, a pleasure to unpack this subject with you this morning, my good friend.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, viewers.
So let's get to it, John.
Right. We actually, you know, this topic has been one that has really, it's been on my left hand, like they say, for years now. And today I'm so happy that we have an opportunity to talk about it. So, Mr. Omolayo, can I say Mr.? You don't feel like a Mr. Omolayo to me. I say just Biodun. So, Biodun, let's go. You know, we're looking at the positives of failure. Helen said a short while ago, can there be anything positive about failure?
A whole lot. A whole lot.
So is there anything like, you know, is there really anything such as that?
Yes. Let me start this way. First and foremost, you want to ask, what does failure mean?
Yeah.
Let's start from that point. Some will see failure as lack of success. Others will see it as your inability to meet your set target.
Yeah.
Others will look at it as, okay, fine, you have planned to achieve a particular goal, and you're unable to achieve that goal. And then they see it as failure. But if you achieve the goal, they believe that you are successful.
Okay.
So, but when you set a goal and you are unable to meet that goal, like those who say, okay, it's failure on your part. But there's something that we need to look at. I always like to use God as a model. You know, people say that God never fails. But I read my Bible very well, and one day I realized that God failed in a particular venture. Yes.
Huh.
I'm a Christian. And then, because I was praying, I was asking God, you know, when you design a product or anything, the Bible says God is the Alpha, the Omega. He sees the end from the beginning.
Yes.
But God created human being. We are God's product.
Yeah.
And when God finished creating us, God said, this is beautiful. But at a point, when sin came in, it's like a kind of, that product is polluted in a way.
Okay.
And God said, this is not good. God who said this is good before. because he's not meeting God's standard.
Okay.
And won't you see that one as failure? Because God said a target. That look, but I was asking myself a question, and I was asking God to that. God, you are the one who sees the end from the beginning.
Yes.
Why didn't you create a human being that is perfect, with no sin and whatever? And the Holy Spirit spoke to me as well and said, look, God is just giving you human beings template to work with.
Template.
To work with. That we are going to get involved in something, and then when it fails, you are going to get some ingredients for success within that failing moment.
Okay.
Wow.
So maybe we should put pastor in front of him instead of Mr.
That's allowed. You know, he's just talking about life, because if you step back and look at the totality of life, you know this falls into place. Now, we fail at school.
Yes.
We fail at work, in our businesses, in our relationships.
Yes.
Is there any way we can avoid failure? You know, because from your example,
Yes.
It's like failure is a part of success.
Yes.
But failure is detestable. So is there a way we can avoid it?
Okay, let me answer it this way, for people to really get it. Success that is preceded by failure is even better and sweeter and more appreciated.
So
Do you get it? Success that is preceded
By failure.
by failure is more appreciated and is sweeter.
Yeah,
If you have failed in an event before,
yes.
and you now take it again, you are successful, you appreciate it better than somebody who just
That you
wants and
just-
just pass like that. You won't take it for granted. That is it. So, you see, like you said, there are different engagements. We need to understand the event and then the partaker of that event. They are two different things.
Wow.
If you take an exam and you fail, you are failed in that exam, it doesn't make you a failure.
Yes.
But it's when you personalize the failing moment, that's when you have failed. You don't fail until when you personalize it. I was talking in a gathering, I was telling them that, okay, there's what we call universal symbol of failure. And we see it all the time, because I'm an artist. Design images, they talk to us, symbols, signs and symbols, but we don't understand it. I remember when I was in school, then when I was doing my A-levels, we did the metaphysical poets, John Donne and the rest.
Yes.
And then it's similar to the Yoruba beliefs as well. They believe that when you have a stone somewhere, the stone too can talk to you. If you hit your toe against that, it's telling you that, look, I'm here, recognize me or take me away from there. So you see, the same way, that symbol speaks to us all the time. In school, a lot of people don't know that universal symbol. When they draw a circle and put a knot, Yoruba will call it Odo.
Yes.
Some will say Olodo.
Yes.
That this one has failed. But what that symbol is saying is that, look, they have given, for instance, if they put that 0 over 100, they are telling you that they have given you 100 chances, but you are unable to even make use of one of it. So that dot inside is you are isolated within that circle. That's number one. But if you are given, a teacher gives you that, you need to look at yourself. Am I a failure? No. So if you are given that circle, you could look at it and say, look, this man said I'm the one who is isolated within that circle, but I want to prove a point. I will turn myself to a hub and let spokes come out from this thing, and you connect it to that circle. It becomes a wheel.
Can I ask you something? Yes, sir. Do you sleep at night? This is obviously a creative mind at
Yes, sir.
work.
It says
Because
it's an
you see the visualization that you're giving us.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, it takes a lot of deep thought.
That's correct.
It takes a lot of deep thought.
And to God be the glory. The Bible says that there's a spirit in man, and the breath of the Almighty gives him understanding.
Okay, yes.
You see, God created in his image. His spirit is inside of us. So as a creative being, you are reflecting God all the time. Even when you are sleeping physically, your mind is not sleeping.
Okay.
And you need to process a lot of these things. So like I said, that circle, then imagine another, if we have Mr. A who processes that way, then we have another Mr. B giving the same result. Mr. B looks at it, and then he looks at that circle. He believes what the teacher told him that is a failure. And he now turn that circle to a face and put ears there and turn it to a portrait of failure and hang this on the wall. He keeps talking. If not because of what has happened, I would have been this, I would have been that.
Yes.
But the other man said, look, it's true, it's part of the process. I've failed in this exam, but I need to move forward.
Yeah.
So he would even ask for, he would even look for more failing moments.
Yeah.
So he would look at another circle and turn it again to a wheel and connect the wheel together, and you can even see a bicycle to move forward.
So at the end of it, at the end of it all, don't you think we're actually talking about having a never say die winning
That
attitude?
is it. That is it, sir. That is because even if you look at the example I gave from the Bible, when God saw that product, humanity failed, he said, okay, I'm going to wipe it out. But from that destroying humanity with flood and everything, there sees somebody, he picks Noah from that thing. So in your failing moment, there are ingredients you can use for success as well.
That's right.
He called Noah and said, Noah, build the ark, and then all the animals and whatever, in pairs, put them there. And another set of humanity came again. And then later, when human beings sin, Jesus Christ came into the scene.
Okay. All right. So failure is good.
Very good.
We should not detest. We should not hate it.
Yes.
All right. Of course, success is something everybody aspires to.
Yes.
You just talked about some ingredients.
Yes.
You know, that can move us from the place of failure to success.
Yes.
Let's quickly have them. Then we'll move on.
Okay. For instance, number one, don't give up. Then ask yourself a question. What did I do to get this thing wrong? So that you don't go back to it again.
Yeah.
You say, failure becomes beautiful when you sit down to assess the situation and ask yourself a question, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
So that I'll make amend. What are the things that I'm supposed to put in place that I didn't put in? For instance, if it's an exam, a student, you are supposed to be reading. You were not reading. You were not even listening to your lecturers in class. But by the time the result comes out, it's not because you are not brilliant, but because you are not doing the needful. That was why you failed. So you now need to come to your senses now that let me do the needful. And this time around, I will do it better.
Yeah.
So if you score maybe 40 before, you are aiming for 90 now. Because you have what it takes to score 90. But
So
just because you were not
learning from your
yes,
failure.
learn from that and then move forward. The same thing in life. Then another thing is that it's when you fail in a particular event.
Endeavor.
Yes, or endeavor. Or you said it could be in school, it could be in academics,
Yeah,
it
at
could
work.
be in business,
Marriage.
it could be in marriage as well. But in the Bible too, God says that He's interested in dropouts. Dropouts are those who start eventually, who never finishes it. It could be in academic, it could be in marriage or anything. So, but God said He's interested in dropouts. He said in Message Bible said he gives strength to the weak. Because once you have failed, that means you are weak, but He still gives you strength, something to work with.
Yeah.
So in that case, you now ask yourself a question. If God says He gives strength to the weak and is interested in dropout, then when you want to ventilate, for instance, if you have issues with, you have failed, instead of just ventilating vertically, you ventilate horizontally. That is, you pray. You pray. That was how I started from that point. So that God who created you knew that there are going to be moments maybe when you fail. But you need to go back and ask God, why did I fail? God will point something to you. So you ventilate vertically. That is, you pray.
I like that look on your face.
You pray.
Yeah. Because this is going somewhere
Yeah.
almost entirely different from
the-
our myopic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's how I laid that background. You need to go back and pray. When you pray, God will reveal to you why you are failing that area.
How about people who don't pray?
You see, people don't pray. We are all spirit beings.
Okay.
Let me tell you, when you sit down, if you don't pray, you sit down and reflect.
And you reflect.
It's another form of prayer.
Okay, that's the same.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, it's the same thing. You sit down and reflect. And then stop blaming others for your failing moments. Blame yourself first. It allows you to see better. When you are blaming others, you are giving excuses, but blame yourself first. And then focus on the issue, not even on the personality involved.
Okay.
Focus on the issue, not the personality involved.
Okay, now, we've talked so much about failure. And we're used to talking about success.
Yes.
Right? Now, what is it that we are getting wrong in our perception of success?
Let me put it this way.
Is it that success is now what we used to know as failure?
Let me put it this way. Most people are very successful. It's because you don't get really close to them for them to tell you their failing moments. People want to hear success stories all the time. They will tell you, but if you get closer to them, they will now tell you, for those who are closer, and tell you that, look, before I got to this point, I've had some failing moments, but I never gave up. That's where I'm here. So they go hand in hand. Nobody who has ever been successful has ever failed before. But most times, they won't talk about it. Or people won't even ask them about their failing moments.
So it's not all rosy.
Never.
Not
it's
what we
not
see.
all rosy, exactly. But there are low moments. But you don't ask them about their low moments. You are only celebrating. And Bill Gates says that it's good to celebrate success, but it's more important to heed the lessons of failure. That's what Bill Gates said. It's good to celebrate success, but it's more important to heed the lessons of failure.
Okay. So I'm asking, why you use the word celebrate?
Yes.
Why does the world celebrate only success?
You see, because most time it makes people feel good. People want to do things that make them feel good. That's why they do that. And then another way I'll put it is that they do that. You know, people are even celebrating success. It might even be a way of, how do I put it now? Masking their emotions. They mask their emotions. Some people will just give you, I was talking before, I said, I'm doing a painting now, I call it mask. Is that everybody carries one mask or the other, depending on where you want to use it.
And what they want you to see.
So what you want people to see, you wear the mask, but whether you like it or not, there's time that the mask needs to be dropped. And then the real you will have to be seen.
Yes.
But somebody who is closer to you will see that. So what people, you give them what they want to hear most of the time.
Yeah.
You are showing to people everything, everybody, like on the social media now. What you see is not everything you see that you need to believe. When you get closer to the person, you see a different.
What you get is not what you order.
Exactly. So people celebrate because it makes them feel good.
Yeah. So,
but there's something that can make you feel better. That is when you appreciate failure.
Is this why then? Is this why some of our leaders, always claim to not have had shoes when they were young, and are they trying to give us a perception of having evolved or risen from
that anything and everything is possible?
That is true. But most times they forget. Okay. They forget that this is where they're coming from. If you have failed before, and then you worked on yourself, you work on your failing moments, and you become successful, then another thing you need to learn, you need to appreciate others who are not as successful as you are. Remember where you're coming from. But a lot of people don't remember again. They judge you by their own standard and everything. They never give you the opportunity to try again. Say you have failed, they write you off. But when you are written off, don't write yourself off. Because it's very tragic. It becomes a tragedy when you write yourself off. If others have written you off, but don't write yourself off.
That's what you call failing forward.
Failing forward creatively.
Creatively.
Yes. You fail forward creatively because there's a difference between failing forward and failing backward. When you fail forward creatively, then you look at the moments, you pick all the ingredients and use them as material for success. But when somebody adjusts you failure and you now adjust yourself as a failure, that's when you feel backward.
It's like giving up.
You have given up.
Yeah.
So you don't give up. So you were talking about our leaders. Those who have gone through those moments, some of them, their parents could not even pay their school fees.
Yes.
But because of the good policy that, you remember the Omolayo era then, free education everywhere, a lot of people were able to go to school. But how many of them remember today that I was able to go to school because of that good policy? Why don't I reenact the same thing, whatever it takes? So they forget. So it happens at times when you are successful. As I said, the question, has it always been this good?
Has it always been this good? Could you just give us a few examples of failing moments
Okay. Let me give you one that happened to me.
Okay.
My first degree was performing arts. I studied performing arts.
Okay.
But I had the opportunity of working in the banking industry throughout my working life before I moved back to school again to go and study visual art in Yaba College of Technology. I resigned from there and I went back to Yaba College of Technology to start all over again. Then there was a work I did in 1987, a painting after service, after the NYC. I picked the painting. I was looking for a gallery that would showcase the work for me. And I went to a particular gallery on Ikoyi, Awolowo Road. By the time I got, we're talking about when you set a target. When you are able to meet the target, you are successful.
Yes.
But when you are unable to meet that target, it's a failing moment. So I picked this. There was a target that I wanted to go to a gallery to just take the work for me. And my belief was that as soon as I got to the place, the guy would look and say, oh, wow, this is beautiful. It took me almost 3 months to do the painting. And then by the time I got there, this guy said, look, he didn't even want to see the work. He said, what's your name? And I mentioned my name. He said, this name is not known. He said, so we only deal with known names here. That, as far as that target is concerned, I failed in that moment, but I picked the painting and I sat down and I asked myself a question. If this guy says, I don't have a name that is known, then why don't I make a name for myself? And I sat down. I said that would be the last time I would take my work to any gallery. I want to start a gallery myself.
Wow.
To start making names for those who don't have names. That's what led to Omolayo gallery that we are seeing today.
Interesting.
So imagine that moment. It was a failing moment, but I converted it.
You failed forward.
I failed forward, yes.
You failed forward.
Creatively.
Yeah. Creatively.
Okay. All right, we've been talking about this for maybe the last 20-25 minutes. If someone were just joining this show at this point, what would be that impactful point or some, very, very key points that you would leave with such person? Talking about the positives of failure.
I would say that if you are judged as a failure, don't judge yourself as a failure. In every failing moment, there are ingredients for success there.
Okay.
Look for those ingredients and don't give up.
All right. Thank you.
And of course, Richard Branson once said, do not be embarrassed by your failures. Learn from them and start again. Yeah? And on that note, I think we're left with nothing else but to say a huge thank you to
Thank you. And that was quite refreshing indeed. It's like a wake-up call for me. Now you made our day. Thanks again. Thank you so much for coming on the show. All right, time to head out to the gym where Dolly Phillips is already busy working. And after that, we'll have the real estate.
We'll have real estate and then Pharaoh will come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course, and that's the Global Real Estate and Housing Solutions with Emma Okoro. This will be the first time they're coming in with us this year.
Wow.
So we're very eager to have them. They're back with us, and we'll wait for Chief Chinedu to join us.
Coming with some unbeatable offer this week, and they're eager to help you own that property. Yeah. Yes, you said.
So let's go off to the gym now.